Hey, it's John David here. If you're new to my channel, I'm an analytics expert and I make content related to both my anecdotal experience in the analytics field and also interviewing others that use data to help drive their decision-making process. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you'd like more content related to analytics. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with Venture Cafe and how giving public talks through Venture Cafe's Thursday gathering helped propel me forward to being seen as an analytics expert in Greensboro, Winston-Salem. For those of you who are not familiar with Venture Cafe, they're a global nonprofit that helps foster innovation and entrepreneurship. Venture Cafe has recently opened up a chapter in Winston-Salem. They meet every Thursday night at Bailey Power Plant within the Innovation Quarter in Winston-Salem. About a year and a half ago, we booked our first talk on marketing analytics. And this was back before they were in Bailey Power Plant. They were in the Inmar building. Not only was I nervous, but it was a standing room only. I think around 40 people showed up. And I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to be seen as an expert. I thought someone who was, 10 years into their analytics career was going to come sit in the back and then call me out on every single little mistake that I made. But it turns out there are not that many people who are educated or have any type of expertise in analytics, specifically in the triad. So yeah, it was very uncomfortable that first talk, but luckily I was there with my business partner Ryan. He's got over 10 years of marketing experience and it actually has a very calm demeanor where I get kind of jumpy and more enthusiastic. He's much more smooth sailing and level-headed. So between the two of us, I feel like we actually did a pretty good presentation. I see three main benefits of giving talks, especially if you're trying to establish yourself as an expert in your industry. First reason is that for you to explain a topic to an audience, you better know it in depth because someone might have a question that can throw you off guard. And this exact thing happened to me. When I was giving a talk at Venture Cafe probably about 9 months ago, I was giving a talk on Tableau 101. And someone asked me what the difference between a dimension and a measure is. And this is a very basic question. The combination of trying to stick to my script with there being people to think on my spot, I totally botched the question and I kind of froze up for about a second or two and then told them, you know what, I can't really answer that question right now, but let me get back to you on that. And I was mortified. It took me a good 10 minutes of reeling to get myself back kind of in the zone when I was talking because I felt like my pants got pulled down in front of the audience. I felt a little down about that and that I felt like I took a huge step back. But it turns out that people who were in that class reached out to me later and said, wow, I learned a lot from that talk. So I was kind of beating myself up unnecessarily so. The second reason I think public speaking is a great way to establish yourself as an expert is that you get to network from a powerful position. So if you are someone who is an executive director of a nonprofit and you're curious about analytics and you come to this talk that you've seen advertised for through Venture Cafe, you're just going to assume that I'm the expert, even though I could theoretically not be. But then once you sit down and hear me talk, you'll quickly know, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, or, this is all smoke and mirrors. It establishes I'm the mentor, I'm the teacher, and you're the student. So being able to get up in front of a group of 30 people, say 25 of them are people you've never met, that's awesome. Because then they see you as the expert. You're the analytics person. And the third reason I really benefited from giving talks through Venture Cafe is that I actually landed a new client through someone I met there. We started off doing sales analytics and marketing analytics and hadn't really thought much about trying to get into the nonprofit space. Because in my head, I'm thinking most nonprofits really don't have much discretionary money to spend. But we met the executive director of a nonprofit through Venture Cafe who that specific quarter that I met him had a new initiative of we need to quantify our impact. So when I met him and told him that I have an MBA with a concentration in analytics and we do deep dives into sales and marketing. He said, wow, if you could pivot that into helping me meet my goals and measure my KPIs, we could secure a lot more funding. So in conclusion, I absolutely think that if you can stand it, you should get up in front of an audience and talk about whatever thing that you're trying to establish yourself as. I mean, if you're on my channel, you're probably trying to establish yourself as knowledgeable or maybe even expert in the analytics field. And if you can get up and talk about something specifically you've done that brings a lot of value, then that's a big win for you. A really good example of some place where you can actually do this is that, I don't know where you are currently right now, but Tableau has sponsored user groups they call them tugs, Tableau user groups. And they're always looking for new content, new fresh ideas to present. So what you can do is meet whoever the tug leader is, and you can sign up for a time slot to talk about your area of expertise. And then all of a sudden you're sitting in a room with, 30 to 60, maybe even over 100 people, and you get to talk about what you're an expert in. And that can help you establish yourself as someone who is knowledgeable. And who knows, it might lead to a new job, it might lead to more clients if you're a consultant, or it might lead to just getting you more plugged into the community, so that it may not directly lead to any of those things, but if you know the tug leader and you know people that are in the analytics community in your area, if they find a job or an opportunity that suits you well, they may just plug you into that.